You think you're in control, but you're not. You wake up, you breathe, you make decisions, and yet, beneath the surface, something else guides you, silent, invisible, relentless. It's not the algorithm. It's not the devices. It's desire, not the noble desire that drives you to grow, to serve, to create, but the restless, fractured, conditioned, domesticated, programmed kind of thing that's disguised as pleasure. How many times have you sworn that today would be different? That you wouldn't waste time? That you would stay on the straight and narrow? And then, with a simple click, an image, a suggestion on your screen, you fell apart again. It wasn't for lack of willpower. It was simply a lack of vision. Here's the hard truth. Your mind has been sexualized, without you even realizing it. Year after year, it's been programmed to crave cheap dopamine, to associate nudity, sensations, and flashes of stimulation with satisfaction, to confuse freedom with consumption. Every time you surf the web for comfort, you're teaching your brain to escape the present moment. We become exhausted. We lose ourselves. We lose our masculine strength. And perhaps like me, we realized it too late. I missed opportunities for futile distractions. I watched my lucidity fade under the glare of a screen. I watched my purpose crumble under the weight of instant gratification. Yet in that pain, something shifted. While my mind may have been conditioned for slavery, it may also have been rebuilt for freedom. This is what it's all about. No gimmicks, no subterfuge, a true transformation. For mastering desire doesn't mean killing it, but reclaiming its sovereignty. It's about putting the king back on the throne, transforming impulse into intention, transforming chaos into stillness, transforming reaction into silent, unwavering power. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to break out of this vicious cycle, how to regain your focus, your control, and your life force. But before you continue, please answer honestly. Do you control your mind, or does it control you? Have you ever tried to focus on something important, but felt as if an invisible force was pulling you away? You wanted to build, but you lost focus. You wanted to evolve, but you drifted. You wanted to be present, but you were consumed by images that didn't touch you. They didn't uplift you, they didn't heal you. That's not distraction, that's control. Silent, subtle, but profound control. And most men live without realizing their minds have been stolen. They think they chose to watch that video, to open that app. But no, they were only reacting to what was already programmed. Desire took over. And therein lies the system's darkest secret. It doesn't seek to destroy you, just to distract you. For a distracted man never builds, never confronts, never leads, never awakens. We live in a time where the greatest battlefield is the male mind, and the most powerful weapon against you is sex. Not the physical act, but the image, the suggestion, the symbol repeated, repackaged, refined until it becomes routine. Sex is no longer in your bed. It's in the ads, in the reels, in the clicks. It lurks in every movement of the algorithm, offering instant pleasure in exchange for your attention. And you pay in minutes, in energy, with pieces of your soul that you give away without even realizing it. With every click, your focus narrows, your presence dissolves. Your inner strength is drained by something that never nourishes you. It only stimulates you. And when you wake up the next day, you feel the fog, the inexplicable fatigue, the lack of clarity, the unspeakable shame that haunts you all day. It's not weakness, it's engineering. The world was designed to stimulate desire before you even think, to keep you reactive and prevent you from considering what you're becoming. Simply desire more, consume more, escape more. But there is a brief moment when you can choose between impulse and action. And that's where everything changes. You can continue to live with a haunted mind. Or you can begin to control your attention with firmness, discipline, and awareness. For as long as desire decides for you, you will never be free. They never needed chains or cages, because they discovered something far more effective. Dopamine, a tiny molecule, yet powerful enough to overpower even the most determined men. Dopamine is released by your brain when you experience pleasure. Anticipation or reward, it's natural, necessary, divine. It was created to propel you toward nourishment, challenge, love, and transcendence. But what happens when this system is hacked? These days, you don't have to cross a desert to accomplish something meaningful. All you have to do is open an app. Swipe, click on an image, and that image, designed to hijack your most primal instinct, is activated. A small explosion in your brain, a chemical beep that says, keep going again. And before you know it, you're trapped in this cycle, a prison without walls but with an addiction, the cell without a lock but with repetition. Every hypersexualized stimulus, every short video, every easy reward reinforces a neural pathway like a river winding through the earth. The more it flows, the harder it is to change its course. And over time, this river carries everything away: your focus, your presence, your depth. You begin to lose interest in what really matters. Long-term projects are boring. Deep conversations are exhausting. Relationships require effort, and you're already exhausted by all these distractions. Dopamine, which was supposed to be your driving force, becomes your poison. You no longer feel joy for simple things or real victories. Only the next stimulus and the next keeps you going. This is how the invisible prison is built, when everything around you offers instant pleasure, but nothing offers meaning. But here's the secret: what is programmed can be reprogrammed. You can slow down, you can relearn silence, you can rebuild your sensitivity to the deep, not just the easy. But it requires what few are willing to give: time and discomfort. For at first you will feel empty, anxious, irritable. This is your brain detoxing from an addiction that was never presented to you as such. But if you persevere, if you resist withdrawal, a new mind will emerge, one that is less reactive, more present, more powerful. Because when you free yourself from constant dopamine, you begin to experience pleasure in what really matters. And this rarer, deeper pleasure is the very essence of a man who doesn't need to be stimulated to act. He acts because he's free. You think your desire is yours, but it isn't. It was designed, manufactured, and sold as if it were natural. The story begins at the beginning of the 20th century. A man named Edward Bernays, nephew of Sigmund Freud, discovers something that will change the world. We don't buy based on reason. We buy based on desire. And if we can arouse desire, we can make decisions. Thus, modern advertising was born, and with it, the era of invisible manipulation. Before, advertisements said, "Our soap cleans better." After Bernays, they said, "This soap makes you desirable." The focus has shifted from the product to the unconscious. And what is the most vulnerable gateway to the unconscious? Sexual desire. There is no older, more primitive, more automatic force. Thanks to this force, our ancestors survived. And thanks to it, we are manipulated today. Sex began to sell everything: perfumes, cars, hamburgers, phones, social media. Not because it provides physical pleasure, but because it activates the same dopamine circuit, the same trigger in the animal brain. This technique has been perfected, amplified, automated, and today it's everywhere. A seemingly innocuous advertisement, a video that appears by chance, a suggested image you didn't ask for. None of this is a coincidence. It's behavioral engineering. And without knowing it, you've become a commodity. Your attention is the most valuable commodity in the modern world, and your unintegrated sexuality is the fastest way to steal it. They no longer need to sell pleasure. They sell the promise of pleasure, and you pay with your time, your energy, your soul. But here's the truth no one has told you. What seduces you controls you. If your desire is conditioned by images, likes, and notifications, then you no longer desire like a man. You desire like a programmed machine. You don't choose, you react. And while you react, others build, others lead, others dominate, including you. But there is a way out, and it begins with recognition. You must see the game, study the rules, understand how and when your desire was hijacked. Only then can you reclaim it. Not repress it, but redirect it. For the desire once used against you can become the energy that builds your kingdom. Imagine your mind as a garden. Everything you consume is a seed. Every image, every video, every word you allow sows something. The problem is, you watered the weeds and then wondered why you weren't reaping peace. It's not just about pornography. It's about empty distractions. Content that stokes desire but kills the spirit. It's about letting your mind become fertile ground for the futile. And then, when you try to focus on building love, nothing grows because your soil is depleted. The soil of your attention poisoned by quick stimuli and illusory rewards. Do you experience silent anxiety? Do you feel bored when nothing stimulates you? Do you feel the need to escape something internal? These are symptoms of a mind overloaded with toxins. But here's the good news: the garden can be replanted. And it all starts with the decision to control what comes in. You can't grow if you feed distraction. You can't aspire to depth while consuming superficiality. The first step is cleansing. It's not pleasant, but it's essential. Stop for a moment and observe the voices in your newsfeed. Which influences do you follow? How do you feel about the videos you watch? After 30 minutes of browsing, do you feel stronger or emptier? You don't need to follow a monk, but you do need to unfollow the demons. Replace them. Trade what feeds your ego for what awakens your soul. Trade noise for wisdom. Trade artificial sensuality for inner power. At first, you will feel strange. You will miss the stimulation. You will feel the lack of distraction. But this absence is sacred. For where noise reigned, space will appear. And in this space, focus begins to grow. Clarity emerges. The purpose takes root. Little by little, you begin to notice the changes. You hear better. You sleep better. You create better. You live better. Not because the world has changed, but because you are no longer a victim of it. A detoxified mind is not silent. It is fertile, and one who learns to choose what they cultivate in their mind becomes the gardener of their own reality. The mind is like a wild horse. If you don't learn to hold the reins, it will lead you wherever you want. And the destination is almost always the abyss of distraction. But there is an ancient, simple, and peaceful path. It requires nothing more than presence. And that's why many avoided meditation. In the modern world, meditation seems like a waste of time. A dopamine-trained mind tells you to stay still. It's useless, but that's precisely the trap. You've been conditioned to believe that value lies in movement, in urgency and stimulation. But the inner warrior doesn't grow in noise. He awakens in silence. Meditation is training for modern man's weakest muscle, inner control. Sit, breathe, observe. That's all. But by doing this daily, something begins to shift. You stop reacting and begin to choose. At first, your mind will resist. It will scream, it will struggle. It will throw 1,000 thoughts, images, and desires at you. It's used to being served, not guided. But over time, the chaos subsides, and deep within your mind, a new presence emerges. The observer is the one who distinguishes impulse from action. He is the one who sees desire arise and does not submit to it. He is the one who transforms the ordinary man into a warrior. And make no mistake, meditation is not about not thinking. It's about becoming aware of your thoughts without letting them get you down. It's about creating a space between the stimulus and the response. And in that space, freedom is born. Carl Jung once said, "He who looks beyond dreams. He who looks within awakens." And that's meditation, looking within, facing the shadow, seeing the mental addictions, facing the void and remaining still in it. It is in discomfort that the warrior grows strong. And meditation is the dojo of the soul. 5 minutes a day is the beginning. 5 minutes of silence in a screaming world. 5 minutes of rest in a mind trained to run. Little by little, you will see the fruits of it. Less reactivity, more presence. Less anxiety, more control. And when temptation arises, and it will, you will not let it overcome you. For the warrior who trains in silence triumphs on the battlefield. He guides your steps. You wake up, you rise, you work, you consume. But where are you going? And more importantly, why? Postmen live like drifting ships, sailing without a map, driven by foreign winds. And what drives them most of the time is not a goal. It is flight. Fleeing pain, fleeing silence, fleeing yourself. The system knows this. That's why it offers distractions. False goals, pleasures instead of meaning, dopamine instead of direction. And by chasing quick rewards, your inner compass rusts. But there comes a time when all of this collapses. The stimulus is no longer satisfying. Distraction no longer reassures him. And the man begins to hear a whisper. What am I doing here? This is the beginning. It is uncomfortable. It is terrifying, but it is sacred. For a man without purpose is vulnerable, but a man who finds his why becomes indestructible. Redefining one's purpose is not about creating an artificial objective. It's about exploring what already exists within you. It's about asking yourself honestly, what motivates me? What frustrates me? What drives me? What am I willing to sacrifice? Don't accept superficial answers. Money is not a goal. Success is not a direction. It's the key to success that will keep you going, even when everything is falling apart around you. For some, the mission is to impact lives. For others, it's to create something beautiful, to be an example, to build a strong family. It doesn't matter what it is as long as it's true. Write it down. Declare it. Remember it. Your purpose must be visible, because on days when temptation presents itself, and it always does, you'll need more than an immediate desire. You will need to analyze your goal and say to yourself, not today. Today I choose what matters. The desexualized mind has a direction that is not influenced by impulses because it is anchored in a vision that cannot be bought or copied, only discovered. Carl Jung said that he who does not know himself becomes a slave to the collective, and the collective has no goal, only repetition. But those who find their bearings don't need to be reminded what to do. They simply act with firmness, presence, and soul. Imagine a free mind, a mind that doesn't give in to impulses, isn't guided by algorithms, doesn't seek approval. A mind that doesn't let itself be consumed, but chooses what it consumes. It is the mind that creates, that builds, that transforms presence into power. It is the mind you can forge. But don't expect a miracle. Don't expect to wake up one day cured of addiction, distraction, and dependency. Liberation doesn't happen by chance. It is a choice. And the first choice is simple but profound. You are not your desire. You are the observer of desire. You can shape it, retrain it, redirect it. You can reprogram your dopamine, rebuild your focus, regain your clarity, but to do so, you must abandon the easy way out and get to the point. You don't need another video. You need fewer distractions. You need presence and courage. The courage to face the emptiness hidden in instant gratification. The courage to say no. No to the algorithm, to your old self, to the digital prison. The moment you silence the noise, the true voice of your soul begins to emerge. And with it, the truth. You are not here to be a slave. You are here to be a creator. And on this path, you are not alone. At Obuscador, we talk about it daily. About the man who chooses awareness over compulsion. About the awakening of a free, present, and powerful spirit. Each video is a path. Each reflection is a compass. We are a community of seekers, men and women who refuse to live on autopilot, who reject superficiality, who dare to face their shadows, to live in the light. If this video touched you, don't let it be just another video. Make it a start. Share it with whoever you need. Discover our other content. Subscribe and join the community of those who wake up while the world sleeps. Because here there are no ready-made formulas. We offer you keys, and you decide if you're ready to open the door. Thank you for being with us.